Assalamualaikum and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to learn chapter 5, Science Form 5. The topic is motion. Today we're going to learn about the vehicle in water and air. I am Puan Rosmawati from SMK Komben, Ipoh. Before we go more further, please click like button and subscribe. Enjoy it. Okay, motion of vehicle in water. Principle of operation of vehicle in water. So we have two type of vehicle in water. One is vehicle with the engine and vehicle without engine. So now we randomly just look at on the surface about the vehicle without engine. Okay, for example, one is sampan and canoe are moving through water by using human energy. Sailing ship are moving by using a kinetic energy of wind. Okay, now we learn about the vehicle in water which are using engine. Okay, first the ship. A ship is driven by an engine which turns the propeller. Okay, the turning of propeller push the water behind action and causes the forward momentum, which is reaction, which drive the ship forward. So in this vehicle, ship, they are using the principle of the momentum. Okay, momentum second say that the action and about the action and reaction. And the rudder of the ship control the direction of the motion of the ship. Okay, now look at the diagram. Okay, you can see the propeller. So this engine is connected to the propeller. Okay, so this propeller will rotate, so it will give a action toward the water. Okay, so when the water move at the behind action, the water behind of the ship will move rotate. Okay, so it will give a action behind action, so the reaction is the ship will move forward. This is according to the principle of the momentum. So the rudder, you can see the rudder, right? So the rudder actually is a part which is control the direction of the ship, whether you want to go to left side or the right side. Okay, so this rudder is controlled by the captain of the ship. Okay, so in bahasa Melayu, the rudder called kemudi. Okay, the second vehicle in the water is hovercraft. A hovercraft moves on the cushion of air on the surface of the sea. So this one, they are, of course, they are having engine to actually the engine is a form of the fan, a big huge fan, right? So this fan will give the cushion air for the hovercraft. The engine turns the fan which produce the cushion of air to lift the hovercraft from the sea. So when the hovercraft want to move, they are lift up from the surface. Okay. The large fan on the top of hovercraft produce a strong backward wing, which is action, which causes the equally strong forward momentum in a reaction that pushes the boat forward. So this is also using the principle of the second principle of momentum, action and reaction. So actually the movement of the hovercraft, we can consider it without any friction between the hovercraft and the and the water. Okay, now is a hydrofoil. The lower surface of a hydrofoil has wing-shaped structure that we call as the hydrofoil. So at the certain speed, the hydrofoil get lifted above the water surface aerofoil principle. They are using the aerofoil principle, and the boat move faster because of the reduced friction with water. Meaning at the certain speed, the boat will be lift up, and only the hydrofoil structure will attach to the water, so it will reduce the friction, so it will make the boat move faster. Archimedes principle say that when a body is immersed in the fluid, gas or liquid, it experiences a loss of weight, which is upthrust, equal to the weight of the fluid displaced by the body. To make you more understand about the Archimedes principle, we said that you will lose your weight when you are in the fluid. Okay, now look at the object. This object in the air, the weight is a 9 Newton. But when this object is placed in the fluid, water, here is water, so you can see now the weight of the object is 8 Newton. That means you lost weight, right? So where is the another 1 Newton? So weight of water displacement by the object is 1 Newton. So the water displacement by a body is the weight of that body. Okay, so this is explained about the Archimedes principle. So it will give you the upthrust from the water. Okay. So now we're going to use this Archimedes principle in the submarine. Okay. First of all, you look at the diagram. So at the surface of the water, you can see the submerged, the yellow color area. This is the ballast tank. Okay, so this ballast tank is empty. There is no water inside that. So when the submarine want to diving, right? So you can see the ballast tank is filling with the water. Okay, so it's diving. So when the third diagram, the whole ballast tank is filled with the water, meaning the submarine is sink or submerged in the sea. So how they wanted to float, right? They will press the water out with the high pressure of air, so the water will push out, so the ballast tank is slowly empty, right? So it slowly push out the water, so make the weight of the submerged is lighter, so it's become float again. Okay, now look at the explanation. When the ballast tank of a submarine are filled with seawater, the submarine becomes dense and submerged in the sea. When the ballast tank are empty, the submarine becomes less dense and rise to the surface of the sea. This because the weight of the submarine is now equal to the upthrust from the seawater. Okay, now we go to the next subtopic is motion of vehicle in air. First vehicle that we want to learn is the jet engine. Okay, for this jet engine, air is sucked from the front of the engine into the compressor and compressed, so that it contain more oxygen for its volume. So now in the compression chamber is full with the oxygen. The hot compressor air, so this when the oxygen is compressed, it becomes hot. Why? Because of the collision of the particle of air. So the compressed air is directed into the combustion chamber, where a fuel such as kerosene is sprayed into it, so it will cause the burning inside the fuel chamber. So when the burning of the fuel chamber, so the hot exhaust gases were out from the turbine, right? The turbine rotates, so it's the hot exhaust gases are out. Okay, so the mixture of the hot air and fuel burn and release hot gas exhaust gases. The escape from which escape from the back of the engine and produce a great backward momentum, which is action. Okay, so this action causes has equally large forward momentum, which is reaction, which pushes the jet plane forward. That's how the jet can move forward. Okay, it is using the second principle of the momentum, action and reaction. So now we will look at the rocket engine. A liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen are carried in the rocket engine. So the hydrogen fuel burns fiercely in the oxygen in the combustion chamber, producing exhaust gases. The exhaust gases escape from the back of the engine with the greater backward momentum, which is action. So you can see the structure of the rocket engine. So look at the capsule. This is the place for the astronaut, right? And you can see the chamber for the liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. Then we have the pump, which is pump all these two liquid gases into the combustion chamber. So this is the internal burning occur and were producing hot exhaust downward. That means the movement of the rocket is upward. This action causes an equally power forward momentum reaction, which pushes the rocket forward. Unlike a jet plane, the rocket can move outside of the Earth's atmosphere because it carries its own hydrogen and oxygen, meaning jet cannot travel out of this Earth atmosphere because there are no oxygen to have their combustion. Okay, now we learn about the differences between the jet engine and the rocket engine. So now we have say 6 differences between rocket engine and jet engine. Okay, first is the structure. The jet plane has aerofoil shaped wing. Okay, they have wing, right? They have aerofoil shaped wing. Whereas the rocket engine, the shape of the rocket is a streamlined body. Method of launching. The jet plane need a long runway to take off, whereas the method of launching of the rocket engine is launched vertically, so they have no need a long runway. The source of oxygen. The jet engine use oxygen from the atmosphere, but in the rocket engine, it carry its own supply of oxygen. Okay, fuel use in the jet, they are using kerosene, paraffin and naphtha. Okay, whereas in the rocket, they are using liquid hydrogen. Okay, fuel consumption. Okay, for the jet engine, they are use less fuel than a rocket engine. But in the rocket engine, they are use more fuel than a jet engine. Okay, size of thrust. In the jet engine, the thrust produced is smaller. But then the thrust produced in the rocket engine much more larger. Okay. Bernoulli principle and its application in aircraft Bernoulli principle. So Bernoulli principle said that when a speed of fluid increase, the pressure in it increase. Okay, so when the speed of fluid is increased, so the pressure in it is decreased. Okay, the other way around. Okay, look at the first diagram. As the water level down the tube of uniform diameter, the pressure of the water goes down gradually because the speed of the water increasing gradually. So in this diagram, you look at the water enter at the air level tube. So meaning the water here is very slow. At the M is a moderate, intermediate. So at the end tube, the speed of water is faster. Okay, so you can see the level of water in the L, M, N is gradually uh, gradually shooting down. Okay, so look at the second diagram. Water rise the highest in the tube P because the water below it flows slowest, and so insert the higher pressure. So in P, because the water is wanted to go to the smaller diameter, so this water flow is slower. So it will give the higher pressure. So that's why the P level is higher. Water rise the lowest in the tube Q because the water below it flow faster, and so insert the least pressure. So here, because of the diameter is smaller, so the flow of water here is very fast, so it will give a very low pressure. Okay, so the higher of level in the tube Q is lowest. Okay, last one, the water level in tube R is between the level of P and Q because the water below is flow at the intermediate speed. So that how the water level is appear like that. Okay. Third diagram. So here you can see the water in the basin, and the air flow, the water is the static, right? And the air flow in the tube, in the glass tube, X, Y, and Z. Okay. The water in tube X rise lowest because the air in the X move the slowest and insert the greater pressure. Because the air in X have to go toward the smaller diameter, so the movement of water here is very slow. So when the water here, air is slow, so the pressure here is higher. So the pressure will push the water level down. The water in tube Y rise the highest because the air in Y move the faster and insert the least pressure. So here, the movement of air here is very fast because the smaller diameter. So when very fast, it will give the lower pressure. So the water level will rise up due to the pressure of the atmospheric pressure. Water level in Z is intermediate. Okay, now we look at the action of the Bernoulli principle in the aerofoil wind. Okay, this is the shape of the wind, the cross section of the wind, okay, of an aeroplane. Okay, when an aircraft is flying, the air below its aerofoil shaped wind move faster due to the longer distance than the air below the wind. That means on the top of the wind, the air flow faster. At the bottom of the wind, the air flow slower. It causes the air above the wind to have lower pressure, and the air below it is higher pressure. because the air flow faster at the top of the wind, so it causes the low pressure, and the slow moving of the air in the bottom of the wind, it will give up the high pressure. So this produce one upward force that we call it as the lift on the aeroplane and support it in the air. So this how the air flow, the Bernoulli principle help in the uh, lift of the aeroplane. Okay, so look at the body of aeroplane, the force acting on the aeroplane in flight. Okay, there are four forces acting on an aeroplane in flight. The thrust is applied by the propeller pushing air backward and creating the forward momentum reaction to push this plane forward. So the thrust, okay, actually the forward force is causes because of the reaction of momentum reaction, okay, reaction of the momentum. So it push the plane forward. Okay, the drag, the second force that add on the plane is a drag. Drag is due to friction of the plane with air. And the other one, the third force is the weight. Is due to the earth gravity. So this earth gravity always pulling the plane down. And the lift is due to the air above the wind having low pressure than the air below them. So lift force is causes of the action of aerofoil at the wind. Bernoulli principle, remember? The high pressure and on the top of wind and low pressure at the bottom of the wind. So it will cause the lift forces. Okay, now we look at the effect, the Bernoulli principle, its effect on the daily application. So we have 5. Okay, so first we look at the 3 action. So when you blow the sheet of paper on the top, okay, when the air blow across the top surface of the paper, the pressure is moving the air below of the paper lower than the pressure in still air below the paper. So when you blow the wind on the top of paper, so the moving air will causes the low pressure, and the still air below the paper will causes the high pressure. So it will produce the lift which push the paper upward. Okay. Second one, when the water flow quickly down the filter funnel, the ping pong ball does not fall. Why? Because the fast flowing of water above the ping pong ball has a lower pressure because it moves very fast. Okay, allowing atmospheric pressure to push the ball up and support it from dropping down. Okay. Third one, okay, when the tap is turned on, the ping pong ball is attracted to the water. Actually, the ping pong ball is hanging, right? But when the water flow, the ping pong ball will be attracted to the water. Why? Because the faster moving water causes a low pressure. So because the water flow faster, so that area is having low pressure. So push the ball toward the water. So because the area of the ping pong ball is higher pressure and the area at the water is lower pressure, so the ping pong ball will be attracted to the area of the water. Okay, next. This is the Bunsen burner. Okay. So when gas escapes very fast from the jet of the burner, a region of low pressure is produced around the jet. So around the jet, you can see here is the place for the low pressure. Why low pressure? Because the gas escape here in the faster rate. Okay. Air outside of the burner is higher pressure and rush into the barrel. So because at the end of the jet is a lower pressure, so the air from outside will be forced in. Okay, the mixture of gas and the air burn at the top of the barrel when ignited. Okay, so this cause you can burn light up the Bunsen burner. Okay, last one. This is a insecticide spray. Okay, you can see the cylinder which filled with the air, and you can see the piston can move backward and frontward, right? So you can see the region of the low pressure spray here and short tube. So here is short tube insert into the insecticide in the tin. Okay, how is working? Okay, when the piston is quickly pushed into the cylinder, air is forced out at the high speed, causes a region of low pressure in front of the outlet tube. So at the short tube, outlet tube is low pressure. So what happened? Atmospheric pressure pressing on the insecticide in the tin force the insecticide out. So because of the pressure, atmospheric pressure in the tin will force the insecticide out because the pressure here is higher compared to the on the top of the tube. Okay, the insecticide is turned into a spray by air from the cylinder. So this is how the spray of insecticide working. Okay, practicing good habit when handling vehicle is a must to ensure their safety of all. Some of the good habit in the handling of the vehicle has follows. Okay, make sure that vehicle are in good working condition and obey all safety precaution, procedure and rule when using the vehicle, and process all the skill needed to handle the vehicle safely. And be physically fit and in the healthy state mind open when operating the vehicle. Don't drink and drive, okay? The following are some caring attitude that should be practiced. First, allowing passenger to align from the vehicle before boarding them. Second, lining up properly and in an orderly manner when boarding or alighting from a public transport vehicle. One should never jump queue. Last one, giving up one seat to a pregnant woman and handicapped and the aged people. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope you understand and you always can replay it if you did not understand. Don't forget to subscribe.